got some thoughts that might be relevant to you. What's the black line? Oh, I see. Let me fix that for you. Okay. I had some thoughts that, maybe will be relevant to you, and they certainly are me right now. I've been thinking about computer programs. Some people call them AI. I try not to, but, we all know what we're talking about, but I don't really want to call it intelligence because it's just not. But now that computer programs can do so many things, now that apparently, I don't even know, but apparently they can code, and apparently AI can create a website really, really fast. And, it was one thing when AI came for the technical jobs. Even that hasn't been fully realized yet. But also now for the artistic side of things, I'm listening to some online music, and I'm listening to some music I've never heard before. And I don't know if it's real or not. I don't know if these bands are actual bands or if it's AI generated music with AI generated vocals. I don't know if songwriters are just using AI to create music and basically being the mouthpiece for AI, how much editing they're doing with it. I don't know what's real. And as a writer, I know that in a sense my time is limited. I never actually launched. I never actually promoted my work. And I can prove I wrote it before AI existed, which is nice. But there's going to come a point pretty soon where I go to a party and people say, "What do you do?" And I say, "I'm an author." And they're going to say, "Yeah, who isn't?" I'm a musician. Yeah, who isn't? I'm a coder. Yeah, anybody can code. You just tell AI what you want. It makes me want to basically find a very small group of people and settle down someplace and just basically check out of society. And that's not necessarily a bad thing and not necessarily in a bad way, but I will tell you this, the experience that I had 20 years ago where I was at the crux of my deconstruction in order to find out who I really am, it just pays off constantly in my life, and this is one of those moments. Sure, I've spent the last 25 years, holy shit, what the guy... There's a guy in his underwear laying down looking under a truck full of... There's a guy in his underwear and his shoes on the side of the road, looking under an auto transport vehicle. This is one of those moments. Am I just asking for trouble, going back and seeing what's going on? Or did he get hit by a truck? Let's go find out. Can't really let that one go. That one's just a little too weird for me to drive past. All right. This is a different video than I expected to make today. Hazards. One moment. I'm not going to film him. But I'm definitely taking this with me. Hey. Anybody home? Hey there. All right. He's back in the truck, or he's in the truck somehow, so I kind of really don't care at this point because I know he didn't get hit by the truck. So if he's just the guy who drives the truck, if he's a truck driver who decided he was going to just strip down to his underwear and socks and shoes and crawl around and do some mechanical work, well, that's up to him. I'll just go about my business. But as far as I was talking about, I'm so glad that I put in the work that I put in at the time when I did it, because it would have been so easy to have my identity wrapped up in things that were... All right, I gotta get out of this guy. This is a shit show now. Now everybody's doing the thing, and don't block me in, dude. It could have been so easy to get my identity wrapped up in something that was, could have changed so easily. And we couldn't have really known, we didn't know 20 years ago just how much was going to be taken from us, so to speak. How much we had to lose as far as our identity went. So many things that we thought were safe. Sort of like any time that there's a technological change where you think you're a coal miner and you came from coal miners and your family's going to be coal miners and that's what you guys do. And now there's so much that's being challenged that we could consider part of our identities, that it is more important than ever to have the ability to differentiate between who we are and what we do. And these moments in history are an opportunity. Some will rise and some will fall. And some will find it too painful and difficult to detach from the things that they identify with. And so they will suffer. They'll suffer. And when you suffer in that way, that creates an opportunity for, just things in life to come your way to say, I can help you with that suffering. You don't have to really let go of that identity in the way that you're thinking of. I can help you let go of that suffering. Maybe the problem is that you have a physical body. If you really want to let this go, here's what we're going to do. We're going to upload you into a computer, and you're going to have a digital life, bodiless. It's going to be great, and we can even deselect certain memories, Vanilla Sky style, where we'll erase the bad things, and you're just going to be all right. So the initial misunderstanding of our identity creates suffering by over-identifying with things that are not who we are. That suffering creates an opportunity for counterfeit solutions to come into our lives that always involve the loss of an aspect of who we are and the dimension of the world that we occupy. This is the definition of a fall. This is what Adam and Eve experienced. This is what humanity is faced with on a regular basis, if you want to consider every 1,000 or 2,000 years a regular basis. And here we are again. What are you going to do when nobody can tell the difference between good art and bad art and fake art and real art and the expression of a human soul and the mimicry that comes from a computer program? What are you going to do when your coding job is gone and you don't have any other skills? You've got nothing social going on, and even managers are hardly needed in that world. You're going to do the same thing that people have done for generations. You're going to figure it out. You're either going to rise or you're going to fall. And this is one of those moments when humanity goes through a bifurcation, and some ascend and some descend through this process. Some allow it to awaken them to the truth of who they are, and some ride the lie all the way down. And it weighs around their neck like a millstone, and they sink. You either let it go because it's not buoyant anymore, or it takes you to the bottom. And I think the good news is that eventually, no matter how many lifetimes or millennia it takes, or eons, we all will be reconciled to the truth and to the oneness of who God is. All will be reconciled. Some of us have different journeys. We all have different journeys, but some of us maybe we'll take the long path, and some of us will maybe take the short path, but all will be reconciled. I think my goal is to help reduce the suffering in the process and help people choose a path of ascension instead of a path of descension. And part of how I want to do that, okay, now we got other things going on. This is a busy afternoon in rural Canada. Is that fireman not wearing a shirt? I don't know what world I'm in right now, but I don't belong here, and you just gotta know when to call it sometimes. So I want to reduce suffering and help people take, I don't know, a shorter path back to divinity, back to oneness. In the end, I don't know if it really matters, but we're here having a human experience, and I think there's a reason for that. And I personally believe that we have those who chose the human experience decided to take the hard way. And I think we had a choice. I think it's possible, at least. I suspect we had a choice. Do you want to go the long way and the slow way, but it's a little bit easier, or do you want to go into the fire of a human existence and get done in 80 years what it would take you 1,000 to do otherwise? Like, that's kind of how I see it, or one of the possibilities. So there you go. Identity is proving to be so incredibly important. And I saw an apocalypse coming, but I didn't really understand what it would look like. I don't know if I fully understood the technological nature of the identity apocalypse that was coming. I don't know if I saw that 30 years ago or 20 years ago. Maybe I should go back and see. I guess it's irrelevant. We're here now. And I just want to encourage people to find out the truth about who they are so that they are unmoved when the world comes and makes them obsolete in one particular way or another. We've lost nothing. If I am no longer an author, it doesn't matter how much time I've spent doing it. If all of that burns up, nobody ever reads it, it doesn't matter. AI does it better, so to speak. No one can tell the difference. Everybody's an author these days. If that's how it goes, it's okay. It's genuinely okay. I don't need to be in denial. I don't need to pretend something is not the way it is. I don't need to make excuses. I don't need to bright side this thing. I don't need to bright side this. I don't need to say, well, it's not really the same, and someday somebody's going to read my work and it's going to make a difference. No, that might all not happen ever. It's okay. It's not who I am. It's a path that I chose, but it's me who chose the path. The path is not me. So I hope more people can get a hold of that. A lot of people have different ideas We all have different ideas about what it means to live a successful life and what progress looks like. And to me, a big part of progress is the ability to become unmovable. To be so firmly planted in the truth of who I am that I am not moved by the outside world unless I want to be. Maybe I'm moved with compassion. Maybe I'm moved by an injustice if I choose to be. But I'm not susceptible to the changes in society that would move me in my identity or in my peace. That's what I want to do. And then I want to share that. And I want to usher in a miraculous age as well. That is still on my mind, and I have still not found that to be a limitation. I have not outgrown the desire to usher in a miraculous age.